Ms. Leduc, if I can get a roll call?
Mr. DeCorda? Mr. Fox?
Here.
Mr. Williams?
Here.
Mr. Kendrick? Marked absent. Mr. Maffett?
Here.
Ms. Flatley? Here. Mr. Nicely? Marked absent. And Mr. Palavoda?
Here.
Have a quorum.
All right, it has been established that we have a quorum. May we now stand for our Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. We bow our heads. Heavenly Father, we thank you for this day, dear Lord. We thank you for allowing us to gather in this place, dear Lord. We ask that you guide our hearts and minds as we go about the county's business. Dear Lord, we ask that you, once we depart from this place, that you give us traveling grace and mercy to our homes. These are the blessings we pray. Amen. All right. All right. Next on the agenda, it looks like is approval of the minutes from September 9th of 2025. So if we give everyone else a quick second to view them if need. If not, I'll take a motion.
I make a motion that we approve the minutes for September 9th, 2025.
Motion's been made.
Second.
I have a seconded motion. We'll just show with a show of hands of acceptance of those, of that approval of those. All right. Any abstentions? And we have 2 abstentions. All right. All right. Next on our agenda, it looks like, is citizens' public comment period. Comments will be limited to 3 minutes per person to afford everyone an opportunity to speak. If comments relate to a specific public hearing item, please offer them at that time of the public hearing. So the public hearing session is now open. I don't have us. I don't think there was anyone on the sign-up sheet. Okay. All right. All right. Chris, is there anyone online who wishes to speak?
No, Mr. Chairman.
All right, thank you. And for the panel, you don't, thank you, Chris. You don't see Chris in front of us. It's through the magic of Walt Disney that he is behind us. Now they've moved behind us, so they're out of sight, but they are still on our minds and they are still listening. So there you have it. All right. All right. The public comment period is now closed. All right. Next on the agenda, we're moving right along. Discussion on public comment. Anybody want to talk about nothing? We're good. All right. Next, I don't see him here, but Mr. Adam Lynch from the Community Planning Liaison's Office in the Naval Support Facility, South Potomac, Dahlgren. Chris, is he online?
No, Mr. Chairman.
Very well. Thank you, sir. All right. All right, moving on, public hearings. No items deferred, no old business. Ms. Leduc, if you want to just talk about the new business. Yes, ma'am.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I kind of want to say, thank you guys for coming. I know it was a very short agenda, but I just wanted to, Kenny and I were talking and we thought it would be a good idea to have this meeting just to see if there were any last minute questions or clarifications or edits to the proposed ordinance amendments after we had our work session with the board. Thank y'all for coming. I think almost everyone was able to be there, but they did come to an agreement on some of the language for the ordinance amendments. And before we advertised the public hearing, I just wanted us to get together to see if you guys had any more questions for us.
Looks like everyone is content with what was discussed.
I want to thank Ms. Flatley a lot also for her help with the access at language. I think we got it.
I think it's great. I appreciate you taking my input, and I think that it will meet our intended desires now.
Thank you.
I'd like to thank Vice Chairman Flatley and Sean for the hours you put into that.
Yeah.
And, it's a better document for both your efforts. My only question is, what is the metric? I mean, how will we know how we're getting to where we want to be? I heard growth was proposed and then rejected, growth rate. But if not that, how will we know if these changes have met the objective?
Staff's able to, we do track, numbers of subdivisions and numbers of new lots, since I've been here, at least for the past year or so. So we could track it that way to see if things do slow down. And then the growth rate, I believe, is recalculated every couple of years. Also keep an eye on that, but. Population, yeah.
And the other thing is the comp plan is integrate, our plans for integrating this into the comp plan guidance thinking, first order principles sort of thing.
That will be coming.
So I do,
We get the contract, did we?
Not yet. No, we're working on the RFP language for it, which I think Matt's goal is to get that out after the holidays, and then, January, and then really jump into the interviews and.
Spring 26.
so I just have a few comments. I didn't realize that we had come to an accord on the dimensions, but I will tell you that I did reach out for Richie Stewart's case out in Chesterfield. That's just right on the other side of Richmond, and that case had to do with they had subdivision with multiple definitions. Okay, so it was this type of subdivision or this type of subdivision, and there was some confusion as to what that was. The end result, and they were trying to do the same thing that we're trying to do here. The end result is that they modified the roads, which we still need the roads in there. If we had it, another way of doing this without breaking, every single lot in the county would be to restrict the creation of new state roads. And this is what they did. If you have more than 5 driveways on a road, you have to be a state road. This would solve this without having to make all these non-conforming lots, which I don't see where there's any waivers for that. Anybody that's had property and knows that if you're non-conforming, it makes it very hard to do things you want to add onto your house or you do just anything you're trying to do. I still strongly feel that messing with the density is very unpopular, and I don't think it's smart. It's going to generate some problems for the for everything. The Real Estate Equalization Board is going to have to deal with this. It's affecting that. It's taking a global variable, to fix something where we could just fine tune it. We're talking about agricultural major subdivisions is really what they're trying to do, not somebody selling off 2 acres so that they can pay for college or pay off their house loan or all the other things that make this country great. I think.
Did we get this analysis of the number of non-conforming lots that this would create?
It's not going to create any non-conforming lots. It's kind of hard to explain, but the lots that exist now will not change. Their ability to subdivide will change because their acreage requirement will have to be greater. Does that make sense?
Okay, so I'm on a 2.5 acre lot
Mhm. Yeah.
in A2. Is my lot considered conforming or non-conforming?
No, you'll still be conforming,
Okay.
but you wouldn't be able, well, you wouldn't have been able to subdivide it anyway, even with the 2 acre lots, right?
So the scope of it, but Sean, what are you suggesting as a amendment?
My proposal would be, it's because we gotta fix the road anyway. I was gonna say, even if we can't figure this out, let's fix the road issue. And I've heard of other subdivisions coming online and they're just gonna dump every lot out on the road. And that's cheaper because they don't gotta do a state road, but, let's put that back in there. You gotta have a state road if you're doing a major subdivision. And, all we gotta do is say no new state roads in our agricultural district. And that will, well, that's what they're doing in Chesterfield. So they're the ones that had that landmark case that went all the way to the Supreme Court, and that was how they solved the problem. So they got sued because they weren't letting somebody divide.
Right.
And their subdivision ordinance, the reason they lost is they had multiple definitions.
What happened at the Supreme Court? Did they hear the case?
The Supreme Court overturned the district court and they had to allow the subdivisions. They have multiple definitions for a subdivision, which you're not allowed to do. So really, I don't think that would apply to us. That's a better question for a
Did they
lawyer.
implement the road thing after that?
That's how they modified the ordinance after the lawsuit. That solved their problem. And
Ms. Flatley, you have the floor.
So I believe that we now have it set up, if I'm not mistaken, that all major subdivisions have to be served by internal roads that meet VDOT requirements. And so any builder would be required to provide that infrastructure so that the lots are no longer allowed to be accessed from primary and secondary roads. So I think that's already
Okay.
established in the changes that we just
Something
made.
needed to be done.
I
Yeah.
don't, the other problem I haven't thought about what you've said about saying, we can't have any more additional state
Mhm.
roads in the county. I don't know how that is legal. But also there are, I think, roads that are existing that some people would like to upgrade to become state roads. And so I don't know how that would affect them. I think it's something that if we want to do, I would have to become more educated on.
All right. Great discussion on what was proposed in the ordinance. Sean, thank you so much for your input. It's very vital and essential that someone of your caliber and education
Well, thank you.
on real estate, we appreciate all your input. Thank you. Thank you. And you too, Denise. All right. Is there any other comments or any input on that? Okay. Mr. Leduc, I'm gonna continue to have the floor with the director's report.
Okay, thank you, sir. Just to finish up on this then, we will go ahead and advertise the public hearing with the
yes.
changes as proposed for the November 12th meeting, and then see what happens from
All
there.
right.
Just to humor me, show of hands if everybody else is in agreement with this, because I'm not.
Agreement that we're going to have the public hearing or agreement? I mean, I can't make a decision before we have a public hearing.
With the idea we're proposing to reduce the density on these lots. Or-
That's right. That's right.
But if you have an amendment,
Well, my amendment would be not to change the density. I don't know how else to put it. I think there's a better way to solve it. I did not feel like there was an accord at the joint meeting.
I'd agree with that.
Yeah.
I'd agree with that.
Yeah, so I thought, actually, I looked at the docket and I saw that what we're discussing, and I saw that's the only thing on there. I was like, great, we're gonna put together a proposal. I should have looked through the rest of it, and I see that there is a proposal, but we didn't talk about this, at least I didn't.
We didn't, and in my opinion, we can obviously recommend it to look different. But what I thought is it's going to come to a vote, and some of us are going to agree with it and some of us aren't. I have to say, I don't necessarily think it's necessary. But I'm more neutral. I'm not necessarily opposed to it either. And I think that the real problem solving is going to come in next year. And so I'm not necessarily hung up on we have to do this or we can't do this, because I'd like to see us pull out some different tools when we do the comp plan.
I think that's really the right answer. So that's really, there's no reason to hit this with a sledgehammer right now if we're getting ready to do the comprehensive plan.
Mhm.
What's your feeling about public response, reaction to?
This is wildly unpopular. I mean, you just talk to anybody on the street. Do you want to be able to do less with your property that you paid for to do with?
And I think that a public hearing, I think, will give us all a sense of what your support of what you're saying. No decision has to be made until after public hearing, right? So that would be my
Yeah.
2 cents.
So are you guys open to discussing the road thing like Chesterfield did to solve this?
Yes.
All right. So in essence, let me give you an example. So if you had 100 acres, what I don't think anybody expects, if you buy your house and there's a farm next to you that's 100 acres, I don't think that anybody is expecting, Hop Yard version 2 to be right next to it. I think it's safe to say they don't expect that at all. And I don't think we're taking away anything from anybody when we say we'll restrict the major subdivisions. When we talked about restricting a major subdivision, the court case was brought up that involved Chesterfield. And I've read the court case, I've read the results, and it's really about their ordinance having more than one definition for the same word. Okay, so which definition do you get to use? And it went all the way to the Supreme Court, and they got to divide their land. Their response to that was to make it based on roads. We do have the authority to restrict roads. Okay? We do not have to let somebody build a state road on their property. We don't have. The whole reason that we make people do a state road is because as soon as more than a couple people build their houses, they all come to the county and they say, we want this road paved. Right? That comes from us in one way or another. We gotta get there. It comes out of our state funds for that. So we don't have to allow them to do that. But we could if they wanted to change their zoning and we let it be in state roads. And
I'm a little bit confused because if we say that in order to have a major subdivision, you have to build a state road, and then we say you can't build a state road, you're essentially asking us to say you can't build any major subdivisions?
well, we're not telling them they can't build a major subdivision. We're just telling them they can't build a state road.
But that's your goal, is to basically say you can't build a state road so that nobody can build a subdivision.
I think, right. I think even the builders would agree with,
There would be no builders because there would be no,
well, they rezone their property to residential, then they can build their subdivision. They come to the
I'm
planning
sorry,
commission.
so you're saying you cannot have a state road only in agricultural,
You can't make new state roads in the agricultural.
agricultural, so, okay, that's a new,
Right.
that's a
So let me
little,
get-
couple.
Let's get back to the example of the 100 acres, right? So if you're A2, 100 acres, you could do a 50 lot subdivision, okay? You change it to 5, you still got a 20 lot subdivision, In fact, they're just going to buy 2.5 times much as land to do the exact same subdivision. It doesn't prevent major growth in an area where we designated for farming. Right? It doesn't prevent that at all. This will only make it, this really only hurts the small farmers. Really, that's it. You know, if they got 1,000 acres, they can still do another hop yard. Right? We really haven't changed a thing. We're just going to take twice or 2.5. It's 250% decrease in the density.
We are addressing this in table X1 and X2. There's changes that have been recommended there, maybe, because all the changes are in yellow, right? Right, proposed changes. I mean, if you just add a clause there that says you gotta get VDOT approval, and then you have to get planning commission / board of supervisors approval.
Right.
Would that take care of everything?
I think so.
We define minor subdivisions and we define major subdivisions right in there. There's a table of how many houses qualify, what you need, access points.
Exactly.
If it has to go through county review, then nothing can be done until the board of supervisors approves it.
So it was my understanding that we tried to word this differently by saying all major subdivisions have to be special exception, and we were told that that wasn't legal. So I'm trying to figure out if your solutions that you're looking at would be considered similar barriers.
But in my mind, we would have had some counsel here. We could bounce these. That's in my mind. I should have
I
called
think
somebody.
we should definitely send some emails to try to get this question answered so that we will be prepared after the public hearing
I agree.
to be fully informed.
I agree.
I do agree with you that it's wildly, excuse me.
Yeah.
We saw that in the meeting.
Oh my God. They stormed
5
this
months
place,
ago,
right?
Like May, I think it was.
Mhm.
Like that was frankly a dumpster fire of an evening. And I've got to assume you're going to walk right back into the same thing with all the major landowners that's far.
Everybody knows I was a stickler for that chart, and one of the things is that by requiring those access points and the parcel connections, there's a greater chance that most of those projects would come to us because they would want us to consider fewer.
Right.
And so when you put that criteria there, it for the most part guarantees that we would have some oversight.
So it sounds like we've got some more discussion to go about this. Certainly not going to resolve it tonight.
Can I make one? And I apologize because I was at a pre-scheduled charity event last meeting and I couldn't attend the joint session. But there is already verbiage in X1, right? So lots 51 to 100 and then more than 101, both on both the types of major subdivisions. Additional access points that may be required, determined upon the planning commission review of the preliminary plat. Can you put that condition in pretty much everything? Then it has to come to us. I mean,
Anything over 50 lots.
right, but can you roll that down? If that's a legal requirement, can you just have that apply to everything?
Good, yeah. You guys would be considering a lot of subdivisions then.
But isn't that the whole point of this? I mean, we're already doing it.
How many?
But isn't that ultimately the point of this? That they want county planning commission and board of supervisor approval of any subdivision?
I think when it comes to a rezoning, yes.
I think it was be treated equally. So what we could do, and I propose this, is to make all subdivisions special exception,
Can't do that.
It's illegal. Yeah.
sort of. I'd like to see that challenged in court. If you treat them, if I read that decision correctly, if we treat that, we define them identically and
Yeah, but that's kind of like almost being pregnant, right? Either you are or you're not. It's either legal or it's not.
it's legal until it's tested.
Not wrong.
Yep. Make them sue us.
Well,
This is
And
a
we
kind of a
do it over
hybrid.
sillier stuff. Let's just be
So-
honest.
There's safety in the hybrid structure that's here, I think.
I also am hesitant to agree with you because,
Family.
well, Walnut Hill, we said, what our concerns were. And then when it went to court, things were negotiated. And so it was negotiated by a judge or by, I'm not sure how the process of arbitration went, but when it goes to court, we do lose our ability to have our say.
Well, Walnut Hills was a case of prior rights. They had a vested interest. And so I brought the question up with counsel about vesting. They bought the rights from the prior owner who had made the improvements. Probably know more about the history. They had infrastructure laid down and platted and plotted and started. So that was a vested right. We're talking about Greenfield here, I think, in A2, A1 year. So that is a good cautionary tale. But by all means, this layperson thinks making, just like we did for solar farms, make them all special exception. And Board of Supervisors can say, yeah, well, we do want a dense subdivision next to the base. We'd rather have it there than have it, up on Mason Neck or something. It gives us a lot more flexibility, and it's treating them the same, which is the legal standard. Is that we're not creating separate definitions for different projects.
So,
I backed off of that because I believe firmly in a family's right to subdivide for family subdivisions. And that would be creating an exception and treating them differently under that legal test that council brought up.
Sort of all started where you just raised, can't we just have require a special exception or whatever for all major structure? And then it came out that you can't distinguish between the family subdivisions and the major subdivisions and so on. In that, or at least there was a legal cloud over it, is my understanding,
so
we got to this.
Yeah.
So we already do that, for the record. So that was my argument. We're already doing that.
Mhm.
So it might not be right based on that case. I don't understand why that would be because of that case. I read the thing. But the way around it is easy with the roads. It's clear, it's not challenged. And, somebody's already fought the legal battle.
Until we do want
Well,
right.
So they got to come to the planning commission.
Right. So let's do this. My recommendation, Mr. Duke, this public hearing, will it be next in November? It will be in November? Will it be the next meeting?
Sure.
Okay. So what I would suggest, what I would challenge each of you, do your due diligence. Do your research. Sean, I know you study this. And you're the subject matter expert. And again, we appreciate your input. But I challenge all the other commission members, do your homework, do really dig into this, and come up with some ideas to suggest to the board. And like Denise said, either you're going to support it or you're not. And it'll come down to a vote. That's where I would. That's what my recommendation and suggestion. All right, we good with that?
So we'll sharpen our pencils on this.
Yes, sir.
Can we request the council be here for the next meeting?
Absolutely.
For sure, yeah.
Okay.
I just wasn't able to make it tonight.
Okay, and then what I'm going to do is I'll email, is it proper for me to email the chairman and then the chairman emails everybody, or can I just blast everybody?
Send it to staff. Yep, send it to me.
I'll send it to this, I'll get some information about what I'm talking about and what the senior planning person down in Chesterfield shared with me. And he's very friendly. If you call him, he'll answer your questions. He's smart on this. He wasn't there for the court case, but he at least he had the corporate knowledge of it. And I think we'd be wise to listen to somebody that had fought this battle before.
Really echo your
Absolutely.
sentiment. I mean, as a planning commission, I think it's wise for us to get some legal vetting before
Right.
letting the public digest it. Otherwise, we could be in the unfortunate position of having to reverse ourselves
Right.
later, right?
Well, all right. All right. Thank you. Thank you all. All right. Yeah. Oh, sorry. Okay.
Chesterfield contact, say it achieved the goal they received.
I didn't ask that. I was trying to solve an issue, and I know, at least for the people I represent, they don't want the downzoning. And just from my real estate background, I see all kinds of problems, even though they might not be sticking out in front right now, but
It feels strong.
they got like 15 agricultural districts. I wouldn't want their thing. If you look at their county, half of it's a city and half of it looks like King George County. So their planning had to accommodate that, and to an extent, that's kind of what we have, even though it's not a city at all. We got
It's a
a
single jurisdiction.
right. We got a commercial. We have like a commercial district, an industrial district, and then the rest is agricultural.
Mhm.
So
Overlay districts that require special.
That's right.
it's going to come down to good planning.
All right. All right. We're good, Ms. Leduc? All right. All right.
If there's anything else that comes up, yeah, email me, call me, try to get your answer.
All right. Next on the agenda, it looks like is committee reports. Do we have anyone that's on any committees standing? I do not believe so. Next is the commission's reports. So, some of you just found out. To others, you may not know. Tonight is my last night, and on the planning commission, my appointment ends October 31st. It was not my decision to not return. However, powers that be decided that they want the board to shrink in size. That was the reason I was given. I've thought over what I would say in these final moments. And so it comes down to this. For me, it has been a true pleasure, a pleasure and an honor to serve the county in the capacity of being on the planning commission. I would be remiss if I didn't say that as a minority within the county, the representation is very important. I think the planning commission itself, you guys recognize that, and I applaud you tremendously. You placed nothing but qualifications to do the job. You placed me as chair, and I appreciate that. I truly do. Continue to do what you're doing. This is the most intelligent group of people I've had to work with in your capacity, and and we all allow each other to serve in that capacity, contributing in the ways of which our expertise allows us to. So I asked you to continue doing so. The county is better for it. So with that said, Ms. Leduc, Kenny, thank you so much for your support. And to the, I guess to the community, thank you for allowing me as well. And with that,
I would like to thank you for your leadership and your many, many years of dedication. We appreciate that, and I know that you will be missed.
thank you. Thank you.
I'd also like to say on the record how much I appreciate your leadership and your participation. And I want to say that I think the planning commission will be worse off for your absence.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. I appreciate that.
You'll be missed, brother. You stepped up to be the chairman,
Sir.
and boy, what a scary job that is to be in the hot seat. And I respect you, and I always thought your decisions were smart and point on, and I appreciate the fairness that you treated me as well as all of us.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. Appreciate that. Thank you. Thank you. So with that, this meeting, I'm gonna ask for this, but adjourn until the next planning commission meeting, which is scheduled for Wednesday. Keep in mind, this is a different day. We normally meet on Tuesdays, but it's gonna be on Wednesday, November the 12th, at 6:30. All right, so if I can have a motion?
Motion as stated.
All right. Motion's made and seconded. Meeting adjourned.